B-boy. From the old to the new, still a B-boy. Too bold for the school, still a B-boy. East Coast to the West, B-boys worldwide. We supposed to be blessed, still a B-boy.
This week, we're heading out west to Watts to talk about an MC who I feel is extremely underrated. From hitting the scene with his cousin Ice Cube, appearing on the classic Death Certificate, to giving us an absolute classic with his solo debut. This is a true West Coast legend and one of the top political / fight to power type hip hop artists in the game. This week, top 10 Cam songs. West Coast Cam. Joining me, as always, got Raven Hunter, Diz Megas in the house, and Surreal the MC. All right, I'll start us off. Number 10, and I'm actually going to 2001's Camnesia. I really wanted to pick something off of this, so I did. And I picked the song War Dance, which is the last song. This was his last decent album. It didn't compare to the first two, but everything after Camnesia, I really just couldn't find anything I really liked all that much. But I kind of like this one. It's kind of it reminds me of Ice Cube's Street Fighter, but he's talking about being a Native American, just all the puns of him being a G, but switching it with, Native American type stuff. Dope metaphors. And I just wanted to show some love to this record, so I had to slide War Dance on there. So that's my number 10. Raven, what's yours?
Number 10. So I wanted to kind of start off where Cam began, and that'd be 1993's Boys in the Hood soundtrack with Every Single Weekend.
1991's Boys in the Hood.
1991. Told you I rushed these notes here, my bad. Yeah, and it was the first appearance of Cam. It's a good introduction for him. It's Cam history, and the beat's great, the flow is great. It fit the Boys in the Hood soundtrack perfectly. I wanted to make sure that song got some love, so I put that there at number 10.
And I even looked up to see what came first, that soundtrack or Death Certificate, like when would have been the first time I heard Cam, and that soundtrack was like a few months before Death Certificate. So that would have been the first time I heard Cam.
The Cube songs on the Death Certificate second re-release, and then the third re-release has like 2 new songs. Oh, but we're not talking about Cube, sorry.
Wait, like unreleased songs?
No. The when they re-released Death Certificate, they put Ice Cube's song from Boys in the Hood as a
How to Survive in Soul Central,
and then they re-released it again more recently with the 2 new songs.
So that one re-release that had like
cover.
Uncle Sam, right, is on the cover?
Yeah.
No, that's a dope soundtrack, dope song. The Cube song in there is really good that we're talking about, but no, great pick. I'm glad someone appreciated it. Number 10 is what made your list?
Number 10 was War Dance for me.
Nice, my man.
Yeah, crazy. On the Camnesia record, man. Like you said, it's a record that it deserves a little bit more props than it ever got. It was a tough year for it to come out, but Cam, I think the last record he did before that was like several years or something. Like he just has these pockets of empty time. And when Camnesia came out, I was ready for it. It was completely different than I thought it would be. But War Dance, specifically that song, is so cool how he like just steps in the shoes of a Native American almost, and it kind of brings it up to date though, and like the metaphors that he's doing there, the peace pipes, the smoking, all this stuff, just burying cowboys, whatever, scalping. It's crazy. I love it, and it made my list, man. Number 10, War Dance.
I'm glad someone else likes that song. Like you said, the metaphors are really good. That's a dope song. Surreal the MC. What's number 10 on your list?
Number 10 for me was Down for Mine off Made in America, which featured MC Ren, and Dresta from the Ruthless Camp. And side note, not having Diz on the Ren list felt kind of naked. I feel like we should redo it, man. Man, that's all I thought about that whole night. I was like, oh, man.
I wanted to be here so bad, but it's all right. You guys held it down.
Yeah, Down for Mine. That was an honorable mention. And listening to that, I thought, what would have been a really cool group would be Cam, Ren, and Paris from Gorilla Funk. That'd be like the revolutionary of all revolutionary groups.
Those guys never got together, ever? Like
N-
I thought maybe
uh,
Shock of the Hour, but I don't think so. I think
no,
No,
not
Paris made it on there.
not not
not as a
Paris.
trio.
Yeah,
No, it
not
was
the
I
three
Cam.
of
mean,
them. Cam was on Shock of the Hour.
So it was Paris
T-
wasn't on there.
No, he wasn't in on that. But that would be like the revolutionaries of all revolutionary groups
but
there.
Paris and Public Enemy put out that joint album, and Ren and Cam were both on that.
Just not on
Hmm.
the same song.
No, yeah, not on the same. My bad. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Okay.
No, but that's closer than anything else. Down for mine. And I like how on the Dresta part when he's doing a little shot at Death Row, Compton and Long Beach together, motherfucker, Compton and Watts. All right, number 9. And I'm going to 95's Made in America. Such a great record. And I'm going with Keep the Peace. It's an amazing beat by Warren G. It ends the album. Well, there's a posse track after it. I just love the mood of it. Cam has a handful of really good on the real, bare your soul type songs, and this is a good one. Just that vibe that hits you in your soul. It's got a great sample. I love this album. It's not as iconic as Never Again, but it might be better if you're just looking at it from the outside in. This album has production by Warren G, EA Ski, Quick, Battle Cat, Cold 187. Just an amazing, amazing record. And I love Keep the Peace because I'm a softie. So that was my number 9. Raven, what's yours?
My number 9, same album, 95's Made in America. I went with Give It Up, produced by Cold 187. Just a hard ass beat. Love that album. It's my favorite Cam album for sure. The more I only listened to like his first 3, to be honest. I skimmed through the later stuff and it just wasn't for me, and I knew nothing was going to really stand out. But this album, I listened to probably 6 times yesterday, just the whole album. Because every good producer in the West Coast at the
Right.
time did a beat for this album, and Cam wrote every one of them. Just dope. Give It Up.
Yeah, that was an honorable mention too. Great beat, like you said. All right, we're on 9. Diz, what you got?
All right, so I went to one of his newer records, Mutual Respect. It's got a song called "Waiting for Your Letter" featuring Corrupt and who else? Mr. Criminal. Yeah. But that record is kind of a compilation record, I would say. There's a few tracks on there I really do like a lot. This one with Corrupt, where he's just writing, they're all just writing like they're in jail, to like their significant other or whatever. And the beat is pretty dope. I think the beat is more oldies Latino inspired, and there's a lot of Latino inspiration on this entire record. And I just love the duo of him and Corrupt. Corrupt had a couple spots on this record. This one, he really shined. One of my favorite Cam tracks, and just one of those Cam tracks that are still under the radar that I still bump it. So yeah, that's my number 9. Waiting for Your Letter.
That whole album was kind of under the radar. I remembered it, but I didn't remember it, like the details of it. Yeah, it is like I think he's got a feature on every song
Hmm.
for the majority of it. Surreal, what are you going to show love for on your number 9?
But before I get into that, that does
Yeah,
make me think when I was going through Cam's discography, obviously him being a member of the Nation, the NOI, and then being affiliated with Lynch Mob was huge in his career and throughout his life. But also he always kind of through had respect for like the lowrider and La Raza scene and stuff. Like that was part of it, being like an advocate for black families and black husbands and stuff, but he always had like tilted his hat metaphorically to like brown pride, and that's
right.
super dope of him. My number 9 from Paris's Unleashed album, Paris and Cam Mob On.
That's
Dope
weird
beat.
that we were talking about Paris and Cam, and here you got one, man. Damn.
No, it's one of those tracks where I always kind of like, but then when we were doing this list, I went back and I was like, man, this really held up.
Yeah, Paris has some really good records too out there if we ever dive
Yeah.
into him. Them early Paris records. Woof. All right, we are at 8, and I'm taking you to his first 93's Never Again. To me, this is my favorite, but a lot of it's nostalgia. And I'm going with the title track, Never Again. As much as I like the On the Real Cam, this is the vibe he's best at. The revolutionary, protest, fight music. Not afraid to speak the truth, no matter how brutal. A great beat. It gets you pumping your fists. The title track's got a real, almost Bomb Squad sounding beat. Just a lot going on. But I love that shit. So that's my number 8. What's yours, Raven?
I stayed on 95's Made in America for the second time. I went with the Battle Cat produced Way of Life. Just another hard ass track. Love that beat. I love Battle Cat as a producer, and Cam sounds so fucking good on his beats.
Another honorable mention. We're knocking them down. You're right though. That we should talk about Battle Cat because there's so many people don't even really know that name, and he's had his hands in so many amazing West Coast songs. I mean, the list is pages long. Yeah, Battle Cat's amazing producer. And like we said, that album is just like a who's who of West Coast producers. It's good number 8. What's your number 8 is?
Let's see. Number 8, I'm also on Never Again, but I decided on Peace Treaty. One of my favorite tracks on that record. I didn't hear that. That was probably like the last. I skipped that record for some reason. Just living in a small town and not having access to a lot of shit. Cam wasn't on my radar for a long time until some years after he had a couple records out. But this record, when I heard it, I was really blown away. It was like, this is Cam at his core essence. He's just political. He's coming at gangster rap through a different angle, and he's fucking good at it. Like, he's like the guy that'll pull you to the side and kind of tell you the truth you don't want to hear necessarily. That's what it reminds me of. Like, this guy was
Right.
gonna just yank me over and tell me, where I'm wrong. But I love the song. He's kind of like just talking about some of these riots in the aftermath of LA, and back in that time, that was a hot topic, and Cam came correct on it. He's right there in the front lines, and that's what he did best, man. Just kind of talked about that shit he saw right there in Watts, Compton, LA, man. It's a good track.
And another honorable mention. You guys got good taste in music. And it's a good way to start that record off. 99% sure it has the first actual song. Never Again is Peace Treaty. All right, number 8, Surreal.
My number 8's from 95, the Pump Your Fist Black Panther compilation, a song called Pump Your Fist, track title. Cam had a lot more like guest appearance in mixtape features, in just 16 features and soundtrack features than I realized, but this is one that always stuck with me. He's in like lyrically, I mean, he's always like on the beat, and his beat selection is amazing too, but it was one I kind of forgot about, and it's called Inspired by Black Panthers, which is different than the Black Panther soundtrack, which is dope too, but Pump Your Fist.
Yeah, there's a lot of great. I know KRS is on there, Rakim. There's a handful of artists that are on that compilation. I know
I think
Pooba's on there, Ahmad.
Grand Pooba.
Yeah. No, I'm glad that just might come up later. I'm glad someone else had that on their radar. It's such a great song, such a great song. But I'm not getting there yet. We are at 7, and I'm going back to Made in America. I'm going with Trust Nobody, because no one's going to trust you. A great way to start this record, just a more laid back Cam. When the first record is real revolutionary, more dirty sounding beats, and this one was more typical West Coast beat, polished type sound. But I like both sounds of them. I love both albums. As dope as this album is, it just was more G-Funk West Coast. But Cam is still schooling you, and I just cannot not rap along when I hear Trust Nobody. Love that track. Raven, what's your number 7?
I stayed on Made in America for the third time. I went with Keep the Peace, Warren G. Great song. Think you covered it already. But it's a great vibe, great beat. Again, Warren G, everybody produced something for this fucking album.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. Such a great beat, though. Just the vibe of this song. 7, Diz.
I went Made in America. That's the DJ Quick produced beat. Just listening to you guys, it's pretty underrated how Cam. Well, I guess what I want to say is that Cam has such a great ear for picking beats, and it's not really something that people talk about. But there's a lot of rappers that just kind of suck at picking beats, But Cam seems to have a pretty good ear for it, and he knows what he's going for here. him and DJ Quick together always do some great stuff, man. I mean, Cam has been on a few Quick records, compilations, even separately. And I think when he's rapping over a quick beat, he's maybe at his best. I don't know, but he's just perfect with DJ Quick's work. And this one right here, man, it's one of my favorite tracks on it, man. I never skip it. I'm always like, yeah, it's so badass. And maybe Cam takes a back seat to the beat on here, to be honest, because I love DJ Quick's production on here, the way he's mixing, the samples, everything is perfect. But Cam just makes it so much better, just adds that special Cam magic to it or whatever. And it's one of my favorite tracks ever of Cam. So
That would have been my number 11. That was going 10, 11, 10, 11, 10, 11. You're right, that beat, even the hook just, I mean, it's simple, but works so good. Surreal, what's your number 7?
Number 7's from Made in America. It's a song I didn't. It's kind of was a skipper back in the day when I had the CD, but I mean, not disrespectfully, but I really like it now. Pull Your Whole Card, which comes from Pull Your Whole Card. That but it was one of those where it's more laid back in the cut. And yeah, I was listening to it the other day making this list. I was like, man, that's a really good song. Back then, it wasn't hype enough, and it didn't kill enough crackers. I guess, maybe I wanted the real rowdy, like Black Panther, Nation of Islam energy. But like when I was listening to it, I was like, man, this song sonically it sounds really good too. Kind of like that, not in the same vein, but just the same energy that Electric Relaxation Tribe. How you can listen to it now, and it has that laid back energy, and it's a good song.
And that was my last honorable mention from that record, but it was also a single. I can picture
it was a single. There was a 12. It was
like yeah. I can picture the single. So number 6. I'm not the first person to bring this up, but 1991's Boys in the Hood soundtrack, Every Single Weekend. And as much as I love this song, and I still do, it's kind of interesting that this is how we're introduced to Cam, because it's not really a Cam vibe, especially what he would bring with Never Again. It was weird how he came from that to what he became, but it's a really dope beat by DJ Pooh. Everyone can relate to this, right? The weekend comes and you get all crazy and wild, and then the weekday you're just normal guy going to work again. And he paints the picture so perfect. Dope song, dope soundtrack, Boys in the Hood, Every Single Weekend. That's my number 6. What about you, Raven?
I went to 93, Never Again. I think 93, yeah, Never Again.
Yep.
Watch for Riot with Ice Cube. I don't recall who produced that beat, but I love the beat. It's like hard, kind of almost choppy in some points. Cube just goes off in that as you would expect, and I love Cube. So anytime I can hopefully include him on a list, I try to do so.
That was another DJ Pooh beat, Watch Riot.
DJ Pooh.
And that is another one I know will be brought up again. Number 6, Diz, what you got?
all right, so this one was off of a DJ K-Slay compilation, West Side Drive-By, featuring EA Ski and MC Ren and Cam. Put the trio together. I think they redid. It was kind of a spin off of what's his name's that whoop whoop. It's the Police.
KRS-One. Yeah.
That's right, KRS-One. It was a spin off of that.
Police, yeah.
And they come hard, man. I love it, man. Just hearing like Cam at his best on here for sure, and the other guys, of course. You put them together, it's like a Voltron of rappers here. And I'm a sucker for Cam and Ren tracks for sure. But this one right here, man, it's so hard. I love it, man. The DJ K-Slay. I can't speak for the rest of the compilation because I only like really cherry picked this track out to throw on my playlists. But it became one of my favorite Cam tracks. So I'd recommend it if you haven't heard it.
And I don't think I have heard it. That's not ringing a bell. That's my homework.
Yeah, check it out.
Because that sounds like a dope lineup. Jeez.
Yeah, you'll love it, man.
Good. I'm glad I got schooled. Number 6 for you, Surreal.
It is Watch Riot with Ice Cube off Never Again, like you predicted, not joking. I mean, for the same reason that Raven said it. I mean, I don't need to reiterate it.
Well, we can kill time. We're halfway there. We're 5. I'm going to Never Again, and I'm going to Watch Riot. Just the popular song, right? It's such an amazing stand-up fight wreck shit song. Cam destroys his first two verses, but then when you hear Q come in, straight pandemonium. I mean, just another level. Just revolutionary music at its finest. My heart wanted to put this higher because I love the feel of this song, but it slid to number 5, and I really thought this would be your number 1 or 2, Surreal. So that was my number 5, Watts Riot. What about you, Raven?
I ran right back to 95's Made in America for Down for Mine with Dresta and Ran, produced by Big Jesse. Hard ass song, great verses all the way around. I love BG Knockout and Dresta, so I love hearing Dresta. Love Ren when he's with Cam. I think they were together on a couple, more than a couple of songs that we had for that list. But yeah, Down for Mine. It's been talked about before, so I'm not going to go on and on, but it is a dope song.
It is a dope song, no doubt about it. Number 5 for you, Diz.
Down for Mine. MC Ren and Gangsta Dresta. Like another super trio, man.
Right. They could be a
I
group.
mean,
Mhm.
no doubt. And the track was great. It's not just like I love the names on there. I love the track. I especially love Ren's verse because it's through that Villain in Black era. He's like that mad scientist, this and
Yep.
that. And that's one of my favorite Ren eras. And I'm so happy that he hooked up with Cam and Dresta on this one just to make something that was like if you were a Ruthless head, you were like, wow, that hit the radar pretty
Mhm.
quick. Like I need
No
this
doubt.
whole CD just for that track. And had to make my list, man. Down for Mine. And I love the Compton and Watts thing at the end too, where they
Right,
have
I
the
know
little
that.
loving seat. Kind
That's
of, I don't know if
awesome.
it's a diss or whatever. It sounds more like a little throwing a little bit of shade at DPG and Dre.
Right.
It's cool.
That's how I took it. Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, number 5, Surreal.
So I had this on cassette single, Get the Fist, with it also had King T, Yo-Yo, MC8 from
Ice
Compton's
Cube,
Most
right?
Wanted, Cypress Hill, Lynch Mob, Cube, Brett, Deadly Threat, and DJ Pooh. There's a video for it. Yeah, Get the Fist. It was kind of, it was like a later on, like self-destruction type of thing. And I think I got the tape before I seen the video, and I was like, wow, that's a lot of people on one tape, on one song.
It was kind of the less popular version of We're All in the Same Gang, but the lineup
Yeah.
is amazing. I mean, that is a very a track that not a lot of people remember. So it's good to get that out there for people to check out. So we are to 4 already, and I'm going to the year 1997. DJ Pooh's Bad News Travels Fast. If you haven't heard this album, go peep it out. And I'm going with the song No Idea. There's 3 really great Cam solo tracks on this compilation, but this is my favorite. I just love these sad, pure emotion songs. When I'm in my lowest down, depressed, and just want to say fuck life, I listen to songs like this. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but I just gravitate to something that can be depressed along with me. Just really hits me in the chest. It's so relatable. And this is kind of a forgotten about compilation. People out there, check it out if you haven't. DJ Pooh's Bad News Travels Fast. Got some really good tracks on there. So that was my number 4. What's your number 4, Raven?
I continued to live in Made in America with Pull Your Hoe Card, produced by EHP and CMT. I love the fucking beat and flow of that song. I love EHP production, and I Pull Your Hoe Card.
I love Yeski. So he always gets love from me. We are on 4 and we are on Diz.
I am going to Camnesia. There's a track called Bang Bang featuring Mystic on there. It's a play on Sister Nancy's Bomb Bomb, which is a reggae type of track. And it's been done before. I think Too Short did it on Blowjob Betty. And so I've heard it elsewhere. But this one, it was one of my favorite tracks on Camnesia. I like that record, Camnesia. Yeah, I scored it, like an 80% out of 100. I don't know. That's kind of a personal opinion of mine, but Bang Bang was one of my favorites on there. And I love like I said earlier, like Cam has such a great ear for picking beats, and it's no different on this one right here. One of my favorite Cam songs. Camnesia is always just one of those albums that seems to like it gets better over time. And I know when I first heard it, I was kind of like, this isn't what I expected. But for some reason, it just kind of has grown on me throughout the years. But Bang Bang just continues to be one of my favorites. And I put it at number 4.
That was an honorable mention. There was like 3 songs off of Camnesia I really like, and War
Yeah.
Dance, Bang Bang, and there's one other one. But you're right. I think that did get better with age, because when it came out, I was kind of disappointed in that record. I was, I had something in mind, because even on Bad News Travels Fast, which is 97, he still seemed like the old Cam to me, the Made in America Cam. And I think Camnesia was just kind of maybe a little bit all over the place. He had like songs with Jazzy Faye, and I just didn't like him with that Southern sound. But there's some good tracks on there.
Yep.
Number 4, Surreal the MC.
Well, my number 4 is for Boys in the Hood soundtrack. It's been brought up, but every single weekend, it sounds like it could be on the Friday soundtrack, kind of. But I like
Yeah.
his baritone voice on that, and just the lyrics, like fucked up the ass because they spent their last. It's relatable. The
Mhm.
lyrics were relatable when that came out in the early '90s, and it's just, I mean, it's just a dope track still.
It holds up.
It's just, I mean, he kills the beat. He's super in the cut on that beat too. I know it isn't his vibe we came to know, but it's a great track.
That was a great introduction to him. So we are to the top 3. Let's see. I am going back to 1995's Made in America, an album that's been talked about a lot. A lot of picks from this record. But my number 3 hasn't been picked yet, and that is In Traffic. I love this song, and I'm not even 100% sure why. I don't know if I can even explain it. It's weird. To me, it's kind of similar to Cube's A Good Day or Fresh Prince Summertime. It just gives me that vibe where I want to be out with the windows down, driving 10 miles an hour, just like bobbing my head. And the piano chords in the beat are just bananas. I love those piano keys in there. And it's just basically some pure dope West Coast hip hop. But this one I always really loved, and production by Battle Cat. Speaking about Battle Cat, but I loved In Traffic. Like we said before, it was a single, and it wasn't necessarily the Cam everyone knew, but it was a damn great single. I love that, and I'm not ashamed to say it. So In Traffic is my number 3. What about you, Raven?
Number 3, I went back to Never Again for Peace Treaty. It's such a great fucking song. It's hard. Speaking on all the riots, it's just a great track with a great flow with some great messages and through the eyes of people that live there.
Along with friggin' Paris, Chuck D, KRS, Cam was one of my teachers as well. I mean, I say it all the time. I learned more from them than a lot of my teachers, as a kid.
Facts, though.
They were schooling me to shit that my teachers obviously weren't talking to me about. I didn't have much Black history in my school. So nah, dope song. Number 3. What about you, Diz?
My number 3 track is off of a Mutual Respect again, Front and Back, produced by Black Tovin, featured Mr. Capone. One of the most gangsta ass beats I've ever heard in my life. And I don't say that lightly. I love the beat so much. Mr. Capone and Cam on here just sound great. Together, their vocals on here. It's definitely a West Coast jam, and that's what you're gonna get out of that track. Yeah, I like that record, Mutual Respect. This is probably my favoriteest track on there. There's a couple honorable mentions that I couldn't place on the list, but I had to go with this one. And since we were talking about Battle Cat earlier, the last track that I mentioned, Waiting for Your Letters, is actually produced by Battle Cat, and I didn't realize that. But anyways, that's mine. My number 3 there.
More love for Mutual Respect. I really wanted to like that album more, especially since it featured a lot of people I like, and I just was kind of lukewarm on it for whatever reason. Surreal. What's your number 3?
Side note, real quick, since we keep bringing them up, I
Yeah.
just saw a video the other day of a party Dr. Dre threw where Battle Cat was DJing for DJ Quick, who was emceeing, and I thought it was super cool. And since
Ooh,
we keep saying those names,
That's dope.
yeah,
bringing it up, I mean, this
no
was just like
doubt.
a week ago. By number 3, I'm cheating. You know, I cheat a lot on the rules, but one of my favorite songs all time in the history of music, "Shock of the Hour" off "Shock of the Hour," MC Ren. You know, Vanilla
Bumpity
Killer
bum
because
bum
it's
bum.
Judgment Day. The kind of shit that turns your baby hair gray. Come on, that's ridiculous. I had to throw it on the list because it's just stupid. It is just so hard to beat. The everybody on there is a Lewy, Ren, then Cam. It's just super ridiculous. It's one of those songs where I can't listen to in certain places because I'll like punch a window or something. It's to this day, it's like one of the hardest tracks ever.
You're in line at Subway and you just start wiling out, wanting to
Oh
kill
yeah.
Whitey. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
killing Whitey, Cracker, all these. Can't deal with it. Raven
It's
knows,
so
dude.
dope, man.
After
Dope.
Oh, I love it.
after
It that I had to put it on the list because it's still like it is literally like so if my AP Rowdy
yeah.
who's been on here, my brother, is what there's a couple songs by Bushwick and a couple songs by Ren. If we listen to them, the night always ends like us getting fighting somebody. I should edit that out.
We
Oh
know your
man.
trigger. Your trigger
Oh man, I
is
love it.
yeah. After Shock of the Hour, I just hate myself. I'm like, yeah, fuck Whitey.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's on that level.
No,
It's
no,
like mind opening.
right. Very no,
It's
no,
like
yeah,
keep your ears open to the revolution. Aside from that, just how hard the beats and the rhymes are. Like in the Gangster Nip too, but that's a different level. Like some of the Gangster Nip songs, like that's a different for another show.
but that is a really good song, right? From the bumpity bum bum bumpity bum bum. I mean,
Bum 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 bum. The
yeah.
shock of the hour. Yeah, dude. You know.
All right, number 2, and I'm pretty sure this will make no one's list. It's just one that always stuck out to me from his debut, Never Again, Holiday Madness. To me,
Yeah.
this song is the shit. I just love how he dissects each holiday. And when you think about it, a lot of elements is really stupid and doesn't make sense. And when this dropped, I bought this when it dropped. He had Ice Cube connections, so I bought anything with Ice Cube connection. And this was my favorite record the first month I owned it, and all the way to this day. Just I don't know what it is about it. I always wanted to redo it. I liked it so much. Production by the legendary Stan the Guitar Man. Everyone knows that name. And it's just Cam schooling us about all the holidays. It really opened my eyes as a teenager when I heard that. So Holiday Madness, fuck, I wanted that to be number 1. Just missed out. Raven, what's your number 2?
I went back. I had to run back to Made in America, and I went with Trust Nobody. It's the first real song on the album, and it opens that album so fucking good. The beat is so fucking good. Sets the tone for that album, which 6, I think. I had 6 fucking songs from that album on this top 10. Love that album. I never even realized how much.
Yeah, that album really holds up sonically, even. It's 30 years ago, almost as came out. Number 2 for you, Diz.
I'm going back to Made in America myself. Pull your hoe card. I like the song. I don't know how I felt about it the first time I heard it necessarily, but it's such a staple in West Coast hip hop music. If you think of Cam, that might be the song that you think of first. Pull your hoe card. It just can't be denied that it's iconic and it's one of his best tracks that he made, and it's going to stick around for a long time. Yeah, and one thing about the way that record starts off, that entire like the intro with Farrakhan, you
Mhm.
know, once you hear Farrakhan on a Ren or a Cam record, you're in for some shit. I
Right.
love it. It's like I love it. I don't know why, man, but I love the way that record starts off, even before the first actual song starts. But yeah, Pull Your Hoe Card. It gets referenced every now and then in other people's rap lyrics,
Right.
and it's just an iconic track. So
Yeah, and they even put like a dope beat behind Farrakhan's speech. It's like, oh
I
shit,
don't.
oh shit.
Yeah, I hate that. I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna get schooled by Farrakhan. Here we go. And the beat's dope.
Number 2, Surreal.
I have from DJ Pooh, Bad News Travels Fast, Whoop Whoop.
Hmm.
Just because it's an all-around good song. It's kind of a West Coast anthem. And, you know, being in the Midwest, being around the Omaha, Nebraska area, over the years, I've realized there's hits that are big in like LA and Oakland and San Francisco and even Sacramento that don't really make it over here. Internet kind of changed that, but Whoop Whoop was one of those where it would show up on like mixtapes and video shows and stuff, and it has that kind of like some of Dub C in the Mad Circle song, or even like Low Profile, or like Threat the Bomb, and even Del the Funky. Like it's a West Coast anthem, that Whoop Whoop.
And that was an honorable mention. The Ice Cube diss. He did one of the, well, Cypress Hill probably did the best Ice Cube diss, but he's got some lines in there. And that sample has been used by multiple other people.
Yeah.
That sample from Whoop Whoop. But that was an honorable mention. I love that song too. Speaking of that sample, though, this is a little obscure, but Rodney O and Joe Cooley in 1991 had an album called Get Ready to Roll. And there's a song on there called Full Funky Stories that uses that same sample. Trust me, go out of your way to listen to this. You'll thank me. That's all I'm going to say. Honorable mention. Whoop, whoop. All right, we're to the end. Number 1. And I'm going to 1995, but I'm not going to Made in America. I'm going to the Pump Your Fist compilation. Pump Your Fist. This is every last thing I want from a Cam song. The revolutionary lyrics, the dope West Coast beat, great flow, but that hook like sends shivers down my spine. You know, if living in America's got you pissed, pump your fist. And it's got the Slick Rick sample, you know. If you ever had handcuffs on your wrist, pump your fist like this. God fucking damn, I just love this in every way. And like we said before, such a great compilation inspired by Black Panthers. But this is my go-to Cam song if I can only pick one. Pump Your Fist. What a great goddamn song. Makes me want to pump my fist. So that was my number 1. Raven, what about you?
My number 1. I expected somebody else would have it on their list, but I did not expect someone to put it at number 1. Pump Your Fist. It's like you said, it's the perfect song from Cam. Inspired by the Black Panthers. It's got a great beat. Big Jesse did that beat too. Another great beat and another great message. It's a great compilation, and this is a standout song from that.
I believe that's the first song. What a way to start that. And he's the perfect artist for a compilation like this, Black Panther, Revolutionary. As always, we look at things the same when it comes to music. Good pick. Diz, what's your number 1?
My number 1 was Whoop Whoop. You know, I think it helped put Cam on the map. One of the first tracks I heard from Cam, and, you know, living in Colorado, I didn't get all of the West Coast shit, but I did see DJ Pooh's compilation, and I snatched that up and was blown away by the Whoop Whoop song. I can still listen to it today. I just love it still. DJ Pooh as a producer, so cool, man. I love what he's done in the 90s. And this is just one of those tracks that I just love. I almost probably know every lyric of it if I sit and think hard enough about it. But the fact that it was like an Ice Cube disc too was kind of cool for some reason. It's like, I don't know, dude, if you're shooting yourself in the foot or whatever, Cam, but who cares, man? It's Cam, you know, it was dope. That's got to be my all-time favorite Cam song. I think it's probably one of his greatest. So
There's a lot of great lines. Like the W it took from me stands for what? It's trying to say it's time for your group. And, you know, and he does all
yeah,
these
you know,
subliminals. And then finally in the last
it's so
verse,
good.
fuck Ice Cube and Pat Chardonnay.
Yeah. But if you listen to it knowing that it's an Ice Cube disc after you realize it,
Right.
it's like, oh yeah, you know, your
Really
wife is the one that
good.
gets in the house. Like he's just
Yeah.
like hitting under the belt.
Oh, yeah.
Are you a
Yeah.
man or a mouse? Like, oh man.
No, it's
It's good stuff.
along with the Cypress Hill Cube disc, I think he did the best. Although Common kind of had a good one, but he goes all out and shit, it's his cousin. Number 1 on your list and Heart, Surreal.
Oh, definitely Heart and List. From Never Again, Peace Treaty. So being a DJ, I got Peace Treaty from a mixtape in a record pool way early on, and it had like the street knowledge, which I associated with like Yo-Yo and everybody,
Right.
Lynch Mob, and JD and everybody. But and this was like the cruising days for me, where we had the 15s in the trunk, and we had like I think this is the pull-out tape decks before the deface even, but that don't really matter.
Right.
But what I'm getting at, when he talks about like going over train tracks, I remember like everything visually in the video, on the song, in the beat, in the lyrics, the flow fits all together with what's actually going on. Like, I obviously, being in the Midwest, I wasn't near the peace treaty like with the gang riots, but the energy and the flow and the unity and just the vibe of it. I remember cruising, and it was like just one of those perfect vibes where you could actually, like, what he was saying, like, embedded in my brain. And I put it up there. If you were to like it, just to insert, I used to just listen to instrumental on repeat like 10 times in a row, just driving around. And then in the, the add the lyrics, it's a perfect song to me. It's a perfect hip hop song. Like Fight the Power by Public Enemy.
Right.
Peace Treaty by Cam is a perfect hip hop song all the way through, no flaws.
And there definitely was a teenage Chris who would walk through the mall with his whole tape deck that he pulled out of his car in hand. That's funny. Kids nowadays will have no idea what you're talking about. And then it was so exciting when you could just take the face off.
Yeah.
In the little case.
Yeah. But with Peace Treaty 2, it had that, I think it was Atomic Dog, George Clinton, and then another Parliament sample. The samples were like in the cut, even like the samples flowed together. And this is one of those songs where I like it's top tier to me.
I think since we started doing these roundtables over 2 years ago, Cam gets brought up in every other podcast. I'm so glad we finally did Cam. Honorable mentions. You guys mentioned most of them, but there's a handful. Yes.
Nas, Where Are They Now? Where he mentions the West Coast artists Threat and Cam. That's an honorable mention for sure.
And then when they did the West Coast remix, I think Cam's on that. Remember, he did an 80s remix of all 80s people. Where Are They Now? They rapped on it. Right. Then he did a West Coast one. He had like Ice-T.
Yeah, well, I think you're right. Some of them were mashups that weren't official, but I think you're right.
But I'm glad we did Cam. Honorable mentions. If you're listening for the first time, if something doesn't make anybody's list and I think it needs love, I just quick give it a shout out. Most of them got covered, so I got a handful. Off of Never Again, Stereotype, and still got love for them. I really liked. You guys mentioned everything off of Made in America. One off of Camnesia, God Brother. And off of Bad News Travels Fast, Who Cares? Another On the Real type track. We covered pretty much everything. Is there anything that we didn't bring up?
I got one.
Yeah.
How about the Rebirth featuring Mossberg off that Connected?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that compilation. Yeah.
That's such a good song. I almost put it on, but I was like, dang, I don't know if this might be breaking the rules. And Chris don't like us breaking the rules.
Surreal don't give a fuck about the rules.
No.
He picked Eric Sermon song that Eric Sermon didn't even rap on.
Tags.
I break all the rules, but
that's the only track I could think of. I left out of there. That's such a dope track. DJ Quick on the beat,
Yeah, that's a good compilation. Mossberg and Quick are all over it. Well, it's great. Like I said, we bring up Cam all the time. Such an amazing artist. I wish more people knew about him, the younger generation. Such a great artist and also really cool guy. And in 2016, we did a song with him on the Rearranged 20 Years album, and he was mad cool. All my dealings with him, he was really, really cool. So nothing but love for Cam. Have a good night. Until next time. See you guys.
Still a B-boy, from the old to the new, still a B-boy. Too bold for the school, still a B-boy. East Coast to the West, B-boys worldwide, we supposed to be blessed. Still a B-boy, from the old to the new, still a B-boy. Too bold for the school, still a B-boy. East Coast to the West, B-boys worldwide.